The name of my business is Head to Tail Health. I am a registered veterinary technician, and I've been a holistic vet tech for the past 18 years. And I do nutritional counseling for dogs and cats and alternative animal health consulting as well. Nowadays, many more people are becoming more aware of what they're feeding their animals and aware of the fact that there's a lot of information out there and trying to make sense of it all and what's the right thing to do and what's not the right thing to do. And as we become more knowledgeable about our world and what's appropriate and not appropriate for what's good for our health, suddenly we see that our little guys that we love so much and are so much a part of our life, that there's so much that we can be doing to improve their health and their happiness. And that includes just about everybody. I don't know anybody who isn't wanting to make their animals' lives better. And this is a huge way that we can do that. So green business is one that uses prevention as a means to an end. And certainly holistic care for our animals, and certainly nutritional knowledge and care for our animals, is about as preventive as you can get, because there's all sorts of degenerative diseases today that our animals have that they didn't used to have when they weren't eating out of a bag. Holistic living for animals is green, and it's only new to us. It's not new to them. Given their own choice, they would be doing this. It's us that's the problem. They are really, really happy when we finally see things the way they see things. Okay, because if they were out on their own, I mean, inside, your little Muffy is actually a wolf. Actually, physiologically, they have not changed inside at all. And your little kitty is actually a lion. All the years of domestication has not changed that any. And if they were out there feeding themselves, they would be eating a huge variety of foods. They would be eating rodents, and they'd be eating lizards, and they'd be eating snakes, and they'd be eating birds if they were quick enough, and they'd be eating eggs, and they'd be eating grazing on things, fruit that has fallen on the ground, and on and on. I mean, the variety is huge. They wouldn't be eating just one little thing from the same bag all the time. How many of you have a dog where you put down your food, and it may be the best food, commercial food on the market, you put down his little thing of kibble, and he comes over and he takes one piece of kibble, and then he goes and he sits in his corner and he eats the piece of kibble, and then 10 minutes later he comes back, he takes another piece of kibble, and he goes back in his corner and he eats the piece of kibble. You know, give that dog a plate of stew and see what he does. He'd be jumping up and down like on little pogo sticks for joy, I guarantee. You can't make a piece of kibble unless it's 50% grain or 50% carbs coming out of that little machine. It can't kick those little things out, okay? Dogs and cats do not eat grain. Carnivores have absolutely no physiological need for carbohydrates, period. Their entire life. None. Zilch. Nada. Okay? They need meat. They need good quality fat. They need a little bit of veggies. They don't need carbs. And here you are feeding them basically cereal. Okay? Not okay. Doesn't work. It's one of the reasons why cats have so many urinary and kidney tract problems, because we're dehydrating them. We're feeding them dehydrated food, and we're dehydrating their bodies. We feed them this dry food. It sucks all the water out of their system to try to digest this food and make it something that the body can metabolize. And what happens is inside you get all this dehydration going on, and you get like urine that is concentrated in the bladder because you've sucked all the water out of it. You get crystals forming in there. I mean, it's not just that. It's like every system that you can imagine. It's just not the right thing that they're supposed to be fed. Carnivores are all about meat. They're not little people. They are built totally differently from us. Let me talk for a minute about the myth of kibble keeping your animals' teeth clean. This is a myth perpetrated by the dog and cat food industry because they would like you to eat their food, to buy their food. Okay, first of all, as I mentioned, cats and dogs have very few chewing surfaces. They're not meant to chew. So, and they mostly don't. You might hear little crunches, it's going down, but mostly they don't chew. But the fact is that if you look at their teeth, they have spaces in between their teeth, not like ours are really packed together. The reason they have those spaces is so that when they're, ripping apart some little body part, so that the meat does not get stuck in their teeth, that they can swallow it down, okay? If, on the other hand, you look at their teeth after you've fed them a meal of kibble, you will see that they have all this kibble stuck to their teeth, okay? So they now don't have the enzymes, the correct enzymes to break down the carbohydrates that's in that kibble. They don't have enough amylase. They're not born with much amylase because they don't need carbohydrates. So they can't break down this kibble that's now stuck to their teeth. So it's stuck on there. It's the wrong pH. They can't get rid of it. And what is it doing? It's actually causing dental disease. When you start feeding your animals properly, meaning species appropriate, meaning real food, maybe raw food, but away from the commercial stuff, you can actually see the differences in their health in a very short amount of time. Their eyes get brighter, their ears clear up and don't smell yeasty, their breath smells great, their coats get glossy, their energy is huge. I mean, these are actually things that you can see. I have seen tartar fall off the teeth of animals when they're eating raw food diets and chewing on bones, literally. I mean, it's not a myth. It's true that they have a lot of health. They're just waiting to get out of their little bodies. We can help them do it. People tend to think it's very overwhelming. They tend to think that it's way out there, and it's none of that. It's very down to earth and very practical. And once you have the information to make decisions for yourself, it's really simple. The website is head-to-tail-health.com. That's all one word, and that's all spelled out, not numbers. head-to-tail-health.com. And the number is 831-359-6001.